Welcome back to You Pick 'em, I Play 'em, the series where I review your favorite games. Your first pick, Infamous, is now in the books, and man, what a game. Before I continue, what game do you want to see me play next? Let me know in the comments. Let me be upfront with you. Infamous was pretty fucking fire. I really enjoyed my time with this game. It did almost lose me for a little bit in the middle, but it drew me right back in, and the ending, oh my god. Let's talk about specifics. First off, the gameplay was super fun, if not a little repetitive here and there. I feel like it's going to be a lot more fleshed out in Infamous 2, which is playing on the screen behind me, and definitely in Infamous Second Son. I just feel like the powers were a little bit simple. That being said, even if the powers were simple, the gameplay was still engaging, and I felt so overpowered by the end. Next up, the traversal. It felt like the entire city was built around Cole's movement, all besides the second part of the city, which is where all of my issues with this game lie. For the most part, the traversal was super damn fun. I did have some issues with the gliding mechanic for the majority of my time with it. It wasn't until about an hour or two before the end that I realized that the issue with the gliding mechanic is that you needed to stop using it when you wanted to grab onto certain objects. I kept clipping through things and I thought it was a glitch, but it turns out it was a feature. And the story wasn't anything too special, but it was engaging and it was entertaining. I found all the moral decisions to be extremely black and white, so it was super easy for me to be good throughout the entire story. There was one decision near the end that really got me, that really had me contemplating, and it was either save 6 people or save your girlfriend. I know those are spoilers, but the game is damn near 20 years old. I feel like it's safe to say. In the end, I ended up choosing to save the 6 people rather than my girlfriend because I was trying to play the role of the hero, and that felt like too selfish of a move. But I like that that decision gave me some internal conflict, and I hope that the decision points in Infamous 2 and Infamous Second Son have way more of those. Now, my favorite part of the story was the end, and major spoilers here. I loved that the main villain ended up being you from the future. I did not see that coming at all. I thought he was just another conduit. The fact that he came back to shape you into being the hero that the world needed was such an awesome touch, and I didn't see it coming at all. Now on to my biggest gripes with the game. One, yes, the combat does get a bit repetitive, but that's not the biggest issue until the midsection of the game. There are a string of about 3 to 4 missions right in the middle of the game where the difficulty just spikes, and it never goes back to that level either, so it just feels like poor game design. There's a mission where you basically have to go through a maze of enemies, but around every corner, they pop out kind of like a jack-in-the-box, and you're overwhelmed by a group of 10 with little to no warning. Then there's a mission where you have to protect a bus as it drives through a city, and you are just overwhelmed by a incomprehensible number of enemies, and it feels impossible at times to defend them all. My last 2 issues are relatively small. The first is that the story went from being morally ambiguous to downright edgelordy at times. It wasn't all too frequent, so it's not that big of a deal, but when it did happen, it was super annoying. And my other issue were the side missions. You weren't fun for the most part, especially considering how many good missions centered around you escorting prisoners to jail. It was extremely annoying how repetitive those missions were, but the good part was that you didn't really need to do that many side missions unless you just wanted to clear the map. You only needed to do around 10 good or bad missions to unlock the bulk of the powers associated with those. All in all, I really enjoyed my time with Infamous, and if I had to give it a rating, I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. Again, let me know what games you want to see me review. What were your favorite games for your childhood? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll choose one for my next game.